Trinity International women's soccer take a 7-4 win over Roosevelt here at home today. Here with head coach Patrick Gilliam. Coach, definitely a high-scoring game today, but give us some of your thoughts on what you saw out there.
Well, we knew going in that Roosevelt had a potent attack. Their record, they've lost some tough games and had some, especially lately, had a couple close losses. But for the most part, there's been numerous times this year where 3-4 goals they've been able to put in. They have, I think, the second leading goal scorer in the conference on their team. So we had talked to the girls about the potency of their attack. So I was thrilled at 60 minutes when it was 6-0 us, and then obviously we let in a couple and it was 6-2, and then got one back to make it 7-2, and I kind of thought maybe we had ridden out their storm of momentum. But sure enough, and credit Roosevelt, I mean, wow, to be 6-0 down and put in 4 goals, in the second half, says a lot about them too, I think, in the final 5 minutes. So they never stopped coming. And, our players, even in the post-game prayer, were like, hats off to you guys. You kept playing, and we always want to admire a team, I think, that's perseverant and resilient, and we saw that. If I had to point to the reasons, I would say the game got really stretched. They have some good attacking players. They have some decent pace. They're direct, so they like to play the ball long. And the game just got stretched a lot. Like the distance from our back line to our front line was really big, almost like playing penalty area to penalty area, and it just gives them lots of room to work in. In the first half, I think we were much more tight with our shape and compact, and all those long services, even the beginning of the second half, I'm thinking in my head now, all those long services just went over the top, went back to Liz, went out of play for goal kicks. But as the game got more stretched, lots of space for Roosevelt to work in. And then the other thing is we couldn't keep the ball. If you keep the ball, your defense can push up. If you keep the ball and your defense isn't always chasing back, they're not fatigued to where they can't push up, But you're chasing the ball all the time back towards your goal, and then you have to push the team 30, 40 yards upfield. It doesn't always happen. So the inability to hold the ball, and I think a lack of compactness defensively. And again, want to make sure, especially on video, I give credit to Roosevelt, because those girls didn't quit, and they came at us. So it's nice to have the 3 points. Obviously, 4 goals against is never something we want to be about. We had given, I think, 4 goals against in our last 8 games, and so we want to be a team that can lock it down defensively. And so a little frustrated with that, but also understanding that. You learn from days like today, and I think our players learned a little bit. We learned a little bit as coaches, and hopefully we grow from it.
You got 3 games left in the regular season before you kick off the conference tournament. What are you expecting, or what do you want out of this team, I guess, over these next 3 games to make sure you're ready to go for the postseason?
Yeah. Robert Morris and St. Francis. I mean, Robert Morris perennially a great team. And it's been a rivalry, and obviously we played a big game against them in the playoffs, and they always seem to bring their best against us, and so we expect obviously a tough game. St. Francis continues to improve every year, and John's doing a nice job with their program, so that's senior day for us, which we're excited about, but definitely 2 very capable opponents in the next couple matches. Holy Cross has I think grown as a program. They're still probably in that bottom third, but we have to go on the road. We have to travel all the way out to South Bend, so they're not by any stretch 3 games that we want to look past or anything of that sort. I would say, what am I looking for, really, to answer your question after kind of sizing up the opponents? I said something to the girls today that I think maybe that's the reason, even the Lord allows sometimes these things to happen. I said, we've really been a team that hasn't had to face a ton of adversity this year. I said, we've won games by sometimes some big score lines. We've not, we just haven't had to face a lot of adversity. We've had some injuries of late, but what team doesn't have that? But I told them today in the post-game, I said, maybe this is a little bit of adversity. How do we respond to that? Because even when we've given up goals this year, I tell them I'm so proud of them, because we grab the ball out of the net, we run it to midfield, we put it down. Very often, we attack, score, or threaten in the next 2 minutes. And that is such a wonderful example of resiliency. Well, today was one of the first times I saw us kind of spiral and struggle. When things got tough, we kind of put our heads down and we dropped our heads a little bit. And we talked about that. I think the girls understand that, would agree with that. But I think what I'd love to see in these last 3 games is that we be the team, this is what I told them, that grabs the ball out of the net and runs it to midfield, puts it down and says, all right, let's go. You know, that they, I was talking to them about saying, not why me, but try me. You know, try me. See how much it takes to really frustrate me and get me down versus why me, which is like, excuses and rationalizations and things like that. So what I'm looking for from them in the last 3 games, I think, is a bounce back. Usually you're talking about bouncing back from a loss. We're not bouncing back from a loss, but bouncing back from 20 or 30 minutes that I think we would agree was not to our standard. I mean, the thing I'm proud of, Greg, I'm in the circle with them after the game, it's a 3-goal win. It's 3 points in the conference standings, and you'd have thought we'd have lost and our season was over. And I think that says a lot about the character of the girls on the team, is that there's a standard, and they knew that today, at least for a portion of the match, we didn't play to the standard. So that's a big difference than a team who's just like, hey, we got the 3 points, what are we all upset about? And so, again, hats off, credit to Roosevelt, but I think our girls learned a lot, and we'll learn a lot about our girls in the next 3 games.
All right, Coach, congrats on the win this weekend, and good luck as you guys finish off the rest of the regular season.